Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Stupendous Wave, and as promised, we are here yet again with another breakdown / review since the third Star Wars The Force Awakens trailer has just released, as I predicted, in October, and we're going to do a breakdown / review. This is supposed to be the last trailer. I assume we'll get TV spots after this. But let's go ahead, strap in, and check out some of the awesome stuff that we got to witness in this 2-minute and 35-second piece of gold. So the trailer starts off with Rey as she's going through what I presume to be a Star Destroyer on Jakku, and in the background we can hear audio of who I also think is Lupita Nyong'o. I hope I said that right, Nyong'o. And she is asking Rey, "Who are you?" And Rey responds, "I'm no one." And Lupita Nyong'o, she's playing a character known as Maz Kanata, and she will be doing motion capture. So that's just who I think it is. Other people have speculated that it's Leia, but I think that since this character is supposed to be have knowledge of the Force, have a lot of knowledge of the Force, in fact, and Rey, based off of this trailer, really it's talking like that she's probably a Force sensitive and that she might become a Jedi one day. So yeah, it just starts with her going through the wreckage of a Star Destroyer, and then she grabs onto her rope and slides down, and it's really cool. The effects are great, and a lot of it looks really practical, and we do know that Rey is primarily a scavenger, so she's just doing her thing. We get to see her mask there, and it looks really great because she's on Jakku. It's got a lot of sand. It's a desert planet, so she's got to have that thing to cover her face. Next, we get to see a shot of Rey walking with BB-8, and what's cool about this is that BB-8 is 100% practical. It's actually rolling there, which is really great. And then, real quick, we see again on Jakku another ship taking off. Not quite sure what the ship is, but we can tell it's Jakku again because it's a desert planet. Again, we see Rey here, and it looks like she's in kind of like a city area on Jakku. It's similar to Mos Eisley on Tatooine, where it's really, really small and there's not a lot of people there. But we later see Finn standing on what looks to be like a hill, and he looks down and he sees this type of city. There's at least some civilization there, and here is Rey here, and it looks like she's fixing up some of her gear, and something catches her eye. Maybe a lightsaber, which is rumored for her to go pick up, but we don't really know. But yeah, here's another great shot of Rey as she's fixing her gear to go out and presumably scavenge again, because that's just what she does. In this shot, we got to see this earlier in the other trailers, but it's a little bit elongated. It's all of the stormtroopers and like snow troopers. It looks like they're on the ice planet here, and they're getting ready to go fight against the Resistance. But on the podium up there is actually General Hux, which is being played by Domhnall Gleeson. And in the background, if you look closely, you can actually see Captain Phasma, which is being played by Gwendolyn Christie. And they are on the Star Killer base, which is actually a super weapon similar to the Death Star, but instead of being able to destroy just planets like the Death Star, it's supposed to be able to destroy entire star systems or galaxies. So it's very, very dangerous, and it's actually built into the planet. And there's actually a little hint of it on the poster that we got to see that was released yesterday as of filming this. So yeah, we see the First Order emblem up top there next to General Hux, some TIE fighters to the left, and so that's basically it. It's stuff we've seen before, but now since we have a little more knowledge about the film, it makes it more interesting. We get to see here Finn take off his helmet and say, "I was raised to do one thing," which I presume is to hunt down the Jedi and look for Force sensitives, but that's just my theory. They're kind of looking for them, and if they don't join the First Order, they probably will end up in a lot worse shape than if they had, presumably dead. And the main goal of Kylo Ren is what a lot of people have been speculating, and based on the toy audio of Kylo Ren, is that he'll be looking for the last of the Jedi, which is Luke. We also get to see here Finn after he escapes in his TIE fighter after deserting the First Order. It gets shot by something. It's a little bit hard to see here, but he does get shot by something. You can see the Star Destroyer in the background, and then it plummets back down to the planet of Jakku, where we see him throughout this trailer and the earlier trailers as well. And here's the shot that was referenced earlier with Finn, and he's saying, I have nothing to fight for, and he's looking down on the small civilization that he found on Jakku, where I presume is the same location that we saw Rey at earlier, and that will eventually be attacked by Kylo Ren in the First Order later on in the film at this point. Now, this next part is one of my favorite parts of this whole trailer and all of the footage that we've seen from The Force Awakens thus far, and it is Kylo Ren, and he is standing on the hull of what I presume to be either a Super Star Destroyer or a Star Destroyer, and you can even see that there's a little bit of a lens flare there, which J.J. Abrams is known for, and it's really bright and it's red, and we get to see Kylo Ren talk here. You can see here he's not wearing his hood, but that his helmet is still covering his whole head, and it just looks great. This whole shot is eerie. You can see the other First Order officers around him, of course, going to work looking for the Resistance or Force sensitives, and ultimately Luke, and he really does look like he means business in this shot. In Kylo Ren, we get to hear his first real dialogue here, and he says, nothing will stand in our way probably meaning the Knights of Ren mainly, and ultimately the First Order, and he says, I will finish what you started. Now his voice, I'd like to touch on this. It sounds very, very similar to Darth Vader. In fact, it's so similar that you could say that he's almost trying to emulate his voice, and I think that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to become the next Darth Vader, trying to succeed what I assume to be his grandfather, because I do believe that Kylo Ren is indeed a Skywalker and the son of Han and Leia, and that he wants to bring ultimately peace to the galaxy by whatever means necessary, and he shares different views than the Jedi do, and what a lot of people do, and the way that he sees bringing balance to the Force and bringing life to the galaxy and letting it prosper is by ruling it with an iron fist and making sure that everyone follows the rules. And it's really under tyranny, but it's really great here. Another thing is he also references Darth Vader as if he is still there. I will finish what you started. Now, I have a theory about this. Now, Revan, eventually, since he had been conflicted his whole life between the light side and the dark side, Darth Revan, of course, he eventually split into two almost different people, one light side Revan and one good dark side Revan. And what I think may be happening here is maybe Darth Vader's Force Ghost is back to some extent, or his Force Spirit, and he's kind of talking to Kylo Ren in a little bit of a way, like telling him what to do, directing him, because it almost seems like Kylo Ren is talking to him here. And it's not just a relationship like this is someone that he looks up to. It seems like he's actually looking to this person for advice and what to do. And I think that it could be kind of like the opposite situation that was going on between Luke and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I think that would be very, very cool to see the other side of that in this new trilogy. Next, we get to see Kylo Ren, and it looks like he's torturing Poe Dameron with the Force. We got to see in the little reel that they brought for Comic-Con that Poe Dameron does eventually get captured, and here's Kylo Ren torturing him, and it looks like he shows him a vision of possibly Poe Dameron's homeworld or the Resistance base being destroyed by what I presume to be the Starkiller base. Now, it seems like there's a lot of fire here, and it just kind of brushes over the trees, and we do see this later on in the trailer, this planet, or what I assume to be this planet, with the trees and the water. The planet name has not been confirmed yet, but I actually think, based off of this shot with the trees being blown away in the fire, and Kylo Ren showing Poe Dameron this vision, is that the beam that actually comes out of the Starkiller base, as opposed to it being green like the Death Star one, will actually be red. Next, we get to see great shots of the Millennium Falcon looking spectacular, trying to evade TIE fighters and going in between and through and around all sorts of Star Destroyers and Super Star Destroyers. We actually got to see in the first trailer the Millennium Falcon trying to evade the same TIE fighters, go through a Super Star Destroyer, but that's a little bit elongated here on the planet of Jakku, and man, it looks great. It's 2015, the Millennium Falcon is perfect, the TIE fighters look great, and we also get that beautiful John Williams music. I just love it. I cannot wait to hear it on the big screen and to purchase this music. It's absolutely fantastic. And we get to see Rey, well, not really see, we get to hear Rey say there were stories about what happened, and that is what I think is referencing to the events of the original trilogy and the downfall of the original Empire. And like I said, that is said by Rey. Next, we get to see our first original cast member of the trailer, excluding the Darth Vader helmet, of course, and it looks like that they're in the Millennium Falcon, and Han Solo is explaining to them what happened, and I assume that this is going to be an expository scene, and Han Solo is going to be filling us in on what has gone on over the past 30 years, but he's telling Rey and Finn, who are both there, both present, and of course they're looking at something, and he says, "It's true, all of it." And, man, to see Han Solo, Harrison Ford here, again, is fantastic. He says, the dark side, the Jedi, they're all real. And it's just absolutely fantastic to hear Han Solo, someone who doubted the Jedi and doubted that the dark side even existed in the original trilogy, say, yeah, kids, they're real, and these are real problems that we're going to have to deal with. I absolutely love it, and to see Harrison Ford back in the role of Han Solo is absolutely magical. Here we get to see the Millennium Falcon go to light speed, which is really cool. We've never really gotten to see it with great effects so far, but that looks great. And then we get to see shots of what I presume could possibly either be the Knights of Ren, which is more likely, or bounty hunters. These are not stormtroopers. They don't look like they're affiliated with the First Order. And there was concept art of the Knights of Ren that I have talked about many a time on this channel. But none of the other people here, Kylo Ren is of course standing in front of them, none of the other people here have their lightsabers activated, if they are indeed lightsabers, but I believe since they're holding things that might be similar to them, and we know that Kylo Ren's lightsaber, the cross-guarded lightsaber, is really, to put it bluntly, crappily made. It's not made like sleek and clean as the other ones. Maybe that's why he wants the original lightsaber, so he can model a better design after that, but that just adds to the charm of it, because there's no one there to really teach Kylo Ren how to construct a proper lightsaber. That's why his lightsaber looks so unstable, and maybe that's why these new lightsabers that we're seeing here, although they're not activated, look so different at this point in time, because none of the people responsible for them really know how to properly construct one, and I just think that that's great. So this is our first appearance of what I believe to be Kylo Ren leading a group of the Knights of Ren, and it is raining here, and it just looks great. I love seeing the lightsaber in the rain. It looks fantastic. We got to see that in the prequels with Obi-Wan on Kamino, but here it just looks great. It's fantastic. Like I said, we get to see the Knights of Ren here, and it looks like they're wearing their masks and they're all cloaked in black. So absolutely great. Love that we get a little tiny quick peek at them in this trailer. Here we get to see the Resistance X-Wings going into battle against the TIE Fighters, obviously, and we even get to see some Stormtroopers getting ready to battle against the X-Wings. And here we get to see what was in one of the teasers, where Poe Dameron, it looks like the camera follows him first, and then it switches around to follow Finn. And if you look in the background of Finn, you can actually see the Millennium Falcon there parked perfectly, and it just looks great. I love that shot, by the way, as well. You see all the Resistance soldiers in the background getting ready to go, all the X-Wings. We follow Poe, and it's all one shot. We go from Poe to John Boyega's Finn, and in the background, like I said, there's the Millennium Falcon, and the music is blaring here, and it's fantastic. I love that shot. I love all the X-Wings and all the Resistance soldiers getting ready to go fight against the First Order and defend their homeworld, or even put on the offensive and go attack the Starkiller base, which we see later in the trailer. The next thing we get to see are three real quick, fairly unrelated shots. I mean, they're all in the same movie, so how really unrelated can they be? But the first one is of an X-Wing taking down a TIE Fighter, which is absolutely fantastic. Then, real quick, we get to see a huge explosion as Finn and Rey are running towards something, and then the huge explosion happens, which looks to be a TIE Fighter exploding, and then they're probably going to have to run the other way. And the third is actually of Han Solo, Rey, and Finn BB-8, and then an actually large droid to the right, a large red droid to the right, just walking past, and Finn looks at it, and we can see on Finn's back he's got a new weapon, a new type of blaster. Now, this is my theory about this place. Either this is where they will meet Leia and speak to Leia, and they will kind of reunite Han Solo with Leia, or this is where Maz Kanata is, which is, of course, the motion capture being played by Lupita Nyong'o, and this is kind of where I think that they will be, and here I think they'll learn about the Force. Again, kind of get some filler of what's been going on in the past 30 years, and so that's just kind of my theory of what this place is. We then get to see a shot that we've seen before of what is presumably Luke putting his hand on R2-D2, and then we see Kylo Ren's shuttle landing, which is really great, and then we see Captain Phasma going to either her TIE fighter or some type of troop transport and getting ready to go on her way. It looks like they are on Jakku here all 3 times. Now, whether Luke is on Jakku originally or on a different planet is unknown, but he might have left at this point because we do know that he is supposed to be filming somewhere else and that he probably won't show up till the end of this movie, which is why he's not really featured heavily in the trailers, but that's really unknown at this point. But again, seeing the shuttle land is absolutely amazing. Captain Phasma, again played by Gwendolyn Christie, looks great as she's walking to her transport or shuttle, and like I said, it's all on Jakku, and there's a lot of fire here. It seems like the First Order has come down and wrecked a lot of stuff. Then real quick, we get to see Kylo Ren swing his lightsaber, which we have actually seen before, and then we see Rey crying over someone, and this scene is very worrisome because this might confirm, not really confirm, or hint at the death of Han Solo or another beloved character. She definitely looks broken up, and I assume that if she finds out that she is indeed a Skywalker as well, and that Han Solo was her father, and to see him die here, whether they had a connection before the events of The Force Awakens, even if she looks at him as a father-like figure, this is going to be big for the audience and for us. Now, it looks definitely sad, and this honestly is worrying me, not for the context of like I'm worried about the film itself, but I just really don't want to see one of our beloved characters go, although this is a new chapter. Stuff like this is bound to happen. It's just really sad here. But Daisy Ridley, who plays Rey, looks like she's giving a great performance here, and I really am looking forward to see it, although I am a little bit frightened of what this might mean. Here we get to see what is Han, Chewie, and Finn all with their hands up in the air, and it actually looks like they're lowering them, so they might be rescued at this point in time, either by the Resistance or possibly even Leia herself, being accompanied by the Resistance, but it looks like they were in danger and now they are not. They've been rescued, but it's great to see the old and the new yet again coming together in this trailer. In the background, we can actually hear voiceover, and it says, "The Force, it's calling to you." And I think that this person who is speaking, like I said, is Maz, and that they are Force sensitive as well, that they have great knowledge to the Force, and that they're talking to Rey, who will eventually become a Jedi. I know Finn is the one with the lightsaber, and I think it's still possible for him to become a Jedi as well, and I'd like to see that. I'd like to see our 2 leads be Jedi. I think that would definitely be great. But we also get to see BB-8 in Poe Dameron's black and orange X-Wing fighter on what now looks like is the Starkiller base, with a whole bunch of TIE fighters flying at Poe Dameron, and he looks very angry and he looks ready to go, and I love this. Oscar Isaac is one of my favorite actors, and he's going to absolutely kill it in this role. I cannot wait. Again, accompanied by that, we get to see a whole bunch of X-Wings and TIE fighters flying literally through each other, it looks like, and firing all over the place. And then troop transport doors for the First Order open up, and we get to see a whole bunch of stormtroopers just empty out, getting ready to go to war. And we get to see Rey with a gun actually fire it at something. Now, she does appear to be on the planet that we've seen her in the teasers before, where she looks up, and there's just a whole bunch of troop transport coming down and TIE fighters flying up above. So this could be connected to that. I think that this might be the same world where the resistance base is, and the First Order attacks the resistance base, and then possibly the resistance decides to take it back to the First Order and attack the Starkiller base directly. And I think that that's kind of what's going on here, and that's kind of the order of things. But yeah, no one really knows at this point. We just see Rey fire a gun here, and it looks really cool, especially like the red beam like flailing and shooting at someone, and then we get to see it glisten in her eyes. I think that's really cool. Next, we get to see one of my favorite things in the whole trailer. It's actually a TIE fighter, and an X-Wing, and instead of shooting just at like a TIE fighter or something else, it actually direct hits a stormtrooper. It's a small little thing that maybe not a lot of people have picked up on, but it's absolutely great, and this is probably, again, where the resistance base is located, and it just looks like it destroys him. It's fantastic. It's one of those small moments in the trailer, but it's also one of the most satisfying ones as well. And then is yet another shot that we have seen before of Kylo Ren using the Force. We saw that in the second trailer, and he just kind of whips around, and it looks like he either Force pulls something or he Force pushes something. Then real quick, we get to see another shot of the Millennium Falcon on Jakku trying to avoid the TIE fighters, and then what looks to be a First Order ship. The front of it just looks like it gets totally annihilated, and then on the bottom of the floor we can actually get to see a mouse droid there, which is really cool that they brought that back. Just kind of a little thing. Star Wars, the little things is what makes Star Wars great, and I love that they're putting a lot of that in this trailer. Here is one of the most touching moments of the whole trailer. We get to see on what, again, the Resistance base is what I'm presuming it is. We can see the X-Wing pilots in the background and then Resistance members in the background as well. But the important thing here is that Han and Leia have been reunited after some time. And isn't this just great to see, guys? I mean, Han and Leia back together. Leia looks really happy to see him, and Han just kind of holds her tight. It's just really great. That's one of the moments in the trailer where I almost teared up a little bit, choked up a little bit, definitely. That's just great to see those two back together. And then finally, they saved the absolute best for last. We get to see what we saw initially in that Instagram trailer where Finn ignited the original blue lightsaber. We get to see that again, and we get to see Kylo Ren approaching Finn, and he has his lightsaber already activated, which we got to see in the first trailer of Star Wars, and it looks like the camera cuts right before Kylo Ren is about to swing at Finn, and their blades are supposed to connect for the first time. Oh my gosh, it looks absolutely fantastic. Kylo Ren towers over Finn as Adam Driver in real life, who plays Kylo Ren, would tower over John Boyega, who plays Finn. But it's just great, and I cannot wait to see this lightsaber duel that's going to happen. Oh my gosh, absolute hype moment at the end of the trailer. So yeah, now that we've broken down the whole trailer, let's go ahead and talk about how I feel about it, get into the review section. So to cut it short, absolutely fantastic, awe-inspiring. The effects are great. I was talking to people, and when the TIE fighter got shot down by the first, initially, I was like, wow, that CGI looks almost practical at this point. The CGI in this is fantastic, mixed with the practical effects just gives it that awe. It's just amazing. I can hardly speak right now. I adore this trailer. This blows the other two out of the water. It gives us a lot more story without revealing a lot. I'm glad that we didn't get to see the lightsaber duel, that they actually saved that for the theaters. They're not showing us too much, but at the same time they're showing us just enough to keep us satisfied. Love the trailer. Now it's just to wait for TV spots to come out, and then for the film. We are not too far off at all, about 2 months as of right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like Star Wars, I hope that you'll like the rest of my videos that I have on it. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, have another video on Star Wars coming out tomorrow, and have a great day.